Hello, everybody. Welcome to Only Stupid Answers. This is where we talk about Doom Patrol.
That is.
Full of spoilers. That episode dropped today on the DC Universe app. And we are going to discuss Season 1, Episode 12, Cyborg Patrol. With Vic captured and held at the ant farm, his father hatches a plan with the rest of the Doom Patrol to break him out. Naturally, things go awry. My go-to on that is shenanigans ensue. Whenever I'm telling a story, I'm like,
well, look at these people.
People are starting like, hey, here's a summary. Shenanigans ensue.
They're full of shenanigans.
Yeah.
Look at those kids over there.
Did I do okay?
Yeah.
All right.
You ran through it.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Ran through the gauntlet.
Thank you.
Roxy,
You're welcome. Yeah,
you watched this episode.
I did.
Paint a picture.
That's
You're
the part.
sitting
That's the
down.
part I messed up. This is Sam Basher. I'm DJ Wooldridge.
I'm Roxy Stryer.
There might
How
be
come you
names
introduced
on the
Sam,
screen.
but not me.
Well, because I felt bad because I didn't want to like take it from you. You know what I mean?
forgot my name.
No, I did not forget.
All these years.
He sometimes blanks. I'll
You
be
didn't
honest.
know.
In your number is not written down in this phone.
DJ, who is this?
It's Roxy Stryer. There we go.
Just things get mixed around.
Yeah.
Roxy, paint a picture. For us, on Monday,
Yes.
We were able to watch this episode, watch a little early, and we had just gotten done shooting Game of Thrones and getting that up. Might be awesome. Go subscribe. And we watched the episode together, and it was a very nice moment watching butts eat people. Where were you when you watched this episode?
Spoilers, by the way,
say,
spoilers.
This
yeah,
is a
all the
spoiler
spoilers.
film.
The butts was the least important, least fixated I was on this episode. Couldn't have cared less about the butts, except for it's just kind of funny.
I did like.
Let's addendum. It's hilarious.
Yeah, the butts were kind of funny.
And again, addendum, most pivotal part of the entire episode.
Everybody's fear, like the butt, that was fine, but that's not what does it for me with this show. I really am so invested in these characters and their emotional states, and checking in with. I call her Jane at all times, but Karen, Jane, all of the Hammerhead, whoever we saw this episode was so great. Watching Rita have to go through, I keep telling you guys, I want to see more of her powers.
Yeah.
Watching her have to get puked out of Robotman was unbelievable. Seeing Cyborg's absolute breakdown and why it was that way, like just all of these things, that's what I care about. Somebody asked me my favorite show on TV this week, and I didn't know, and I said Doom Patrol. And then, when something comes out, and you're like, whoa,
That's the truth.
guess it's Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
I love this show. Oh, I love this show.
I did like. There's a clueless general character that just.
Eating burgers and staring at screens.
I actually thought it was a really good depiction of authoritarianism. Just this like clueless guy that's just there to be the guy. He's just somehow in the spot to be the guy, just because
We can't upset the butt.
Well, I thought I misheard him. I thought about
What did you think
10
he
minutes
said?
later, I was like, that couldn't have been it. I thought he said balance. What like he said butts. I'm like, no.
It must have been.
He must have been balanced. Like 10 minutes later, I was like, it must have been balanced.
Or the bus.
And then we get
Can't
to
upset
the
that
butts.
bus.
But the
Can't
big
miss
one,
the
let's
bus.
throw up some Cyborg. We got this is Cyborg Patrol. And boy, howdy, does he get put through the ringer, because we finally get a little bit more exploration.
He looks so good.
He
Can
does
you guys
look really
break
good.
this down for me a little more?
Yeah.
Because Grid is at the house. Cyborg is in the place of normalcy. What is that location
Bureau.
called?
Bureau of Normalcy.
But is that
the ant farm?
The ant farm, right? So he's at the ant farm, but he is still having different information given to him digitally and seeing all of these things. What's happening?
That's not there.
Yeah.
And it's not his computer. It's
his
Mr.
mind.
Nobody says
It's
that's
Mr.
the part
Nobody.
I can affect. It's your
Yeah.
brain. It's your perception of reality.
And so Mr. Nobody is hacking in and showing him things that didn't happen even.
That's why
or
his-
showing him things that did happen but at different times that make him... That is so messed up.
And
Yeah,
the
that-
roommate heard him.
I know.
That's why it was there.
And when the roommate said, stop, he doesn't want to download whatever. Do you know how annoyed I get at my phone or my computer if it asks me something twice? I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
This was over and over and over. I was going to rip my computer out of the wall. Like,
Yeah.
computers aren't in the wall anymore. It was on my lap.
And so we got Silas. Silas we've been led to. I like the way the show put us into Cyborg's perspective, and we become suspicious. We are naturally suspicious of him, like Cyborg is, and we actually have almost no reason to be.
I mean,
He's a little overprotective.
Besides putting child locks on a person's body, you're like,
Which is
that's,
bad.
That's weird.
But also, we saw what happens when that goes
And he's
haywire.
got nukes inside of him.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad, but okay.
But we also
Understandable.
believe that because we don't know that it's Mr. Nobody showing us this footage, and you're thinking, wow, what a D-bag.
Yeah. That got me too when he was like, oh yeah, the last part was completely fake.
I made that up.
Yeah.
So he might not be turning more. He might not be becoming more cybernetic.
Yeah.
That might not be happening. Grid might not be doing anything wrong right now.
Yeah.
So how is he functioning? How is he alive without Grid in him?
He can't use any. What I got is he couldn't use any peripheral assembly parts of him, like a weapon.
Yeah.
And he can't use the internet. That's what I got.
Yeah, but how is he alive? I thought that he
good
had to have
question.
Grid to literally be breathing and to be alive.
It might be like Grid operates things beyond his normal brain capacity. Mm-hmm. That is what I'm going to go out on a limb and assume. But
I'm fine with it, but-
it is ambiguous. But like this, actually, honestly, I don't know how I feel about the ending because it's so tragic. Mm-hmm. It's so tragic, and it's one of those
one of the darkest origins for a character. Period.
Yeah, and it's tough because it happens to Cyborg, who's like the most likable and the least, it has been the least damaged.
Which is
saying
what are
something.
you specifically talking about?
When he murders his dad. When he murders his dad. Manslaughters.
Yeah.
He manslaughters his dad.
He was manipulated, and he didn't know what was happening, but he thought his dad was trying to do something to him.
No.
So it's Mr. Nobody who pushed him, but also he did this.
No.
But are you saying right now that you didn't like it as in you wish it didn't happen? Or you say you didn't like it as in you're a human being, so you don't like watching somebody?
Both.
Okay.
I'd say the second one more for me.
Is what I struggle with because it's just hard to like. One, I don't want Silas to be dead because I think there's a lot of interesting story mileage that we haven't quite tapped into. I mean, like,
Do you think that's 100% what's happening?
Do you like? Is he maybe not dead?
And Vision, whatever is happening with Mr. Nobody is causing him to.
That's a catch-22 because on the one hand you want the show to stick to its guns and be like this happened, but on the other hand I don't want it to have happened. So, like.
I kind of hope they stick with it too. But at the same time, if he's recovering slowly, he's just he's someone who's vulnerable at the house who is a liability. So that also is a story that you could kind of play out. And he could die in a way moving forward that is less tragic than Cyborg beating him to death.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty rough. And in an episode that's might be the most bonkers one we've had so far, where it's like, I love the jokes when it comes to Cliff when he's being detained and he's labeled as scrap, and also it's like
that whole bit was hilarious.
It's so funny. It's that it's not impressive anymore to put brains of things into things.
We have a toaster that we use for jokes.
Yeah, he's not impressive. Also, the fact that he probably smells bad on the inside. Mm-hmm. Of course he does.
Yeah.
I had a rat
the
running
rat's
around.
fault.
Yeah,
Sam. I think that Karen coming out in this episode was unbelievable too, and Jane being so upset that Karen was coming out and she could feel it because of this song being a trigger. No. We need to use this kind of thing more often with this character. Songs or triggers, like visual, anything that we know when blah 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 plays. This person comes out. When we see a flower, this person comes out because I want to be able to see that coming.
That's not a bad point. I mean, that'd be cool. I did like that for some reason Guy who broke his arm because of Hammerhead in the last episode is so pissed about it that he became full Dexter serial killer. Like he's dancing to music, playing with saws.
You've watched Reservoir Dogs.
He is a monster.
Yeah.
Out of all the evil henchmen, the one that interacted with Cliff was really interesting, and
she got smoothed.
Oh yeah. Bad news bears for her.
Yeah.
But also when it came to Larry's storyline with them using a Ghostbusters machine to take out the ghost inside of him, which was cool. That there is something that could take him out, and they basically bottle him up. That's a really sad moment where you see his hand come up against the glass.
Why didn't the team realize, the Bureau of Normalcy realize that Rita wasn't there?
Good question.
I mean, they don't know him as a team.
Yeah. I think they do. When Silas says, I'm going to trade them all in, you don't think that they know? They've already gone after them. You don't think that they are aware?
They haven't gone after Rita.
Yeah, but they went to the location. I'm assuming they have targets, knowing who they all are now.
But I understand what you're saying, and I had a similar question. I do wonder if maybe it's the same way because I was surprised that I was surprised because they do a good job of setting up Rita not wanting to go, and so maybe they just assumed that like of the two characters that would normally bail, it's Rita and Larry's kind of finally getting back into the groove a little bit. And so it's like, yeah, why would Rita come? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I do agree with that. One thing I would like to say is one of my favorite bits were the little robot golems or whatever, the people that are the switchers, like they're telephone switchers, but they've got it's just to get over a walkway, but they're like carried like a robot arm pulls them over and sets them on the other side, and they do their little thing. It reminded me of the mustache people in Legion.
They're the controllers, something like that.
I don't know, but it was a good
that,
visual bit. It was a classic, like, it's moments like that in the conversation with Robotman that goes back to that idea of like normal human beings put into like a Silver Age comic where like, yeah, the whole, brain in a machine thing is, we've been doing it. You know what I mean? It's like, you're nothing new, you're nothing special. Don't get ahead of yourself.
And no, those control, whatever they were, so scary. So like their eyes are outside of their head and they're like visors or whatever.
Yeah,
that's fun. And the general I like the idea of him like you pointed out, just kind of being clueless and bumbling. But also we opened the door to a lot of literally to a lot of other villains that could show up in the future.
Whatever the eye thing was.
I think those were the butts.
Were those the butts?
I think those
Did
were
the butts have eyes?
I mean, they probably do. They went after people.
Questions I never thought people would ask.
I mean, they have mouths.
Yeah.
They have teeth. They walked away eating people.
Yeah, they did.
The butts ate people. You don't eat the butts, the butts eat you. That's a lesson in Doom Patrol this week, gang. Hold on to your butts. But watch your fingies. They'll get you. No, that was honestly, I didn't know. You get confused because you're like, okay, so Titans could only do the tiger. Or there's a long running, they want to have him earn other animals or something like that. Whatever, like Animorphs.
Beast Boy.
Beetleborgs. But in this, we've had an alligator, we've had a rat, and we have a cockroach, and
Don't
we've
forget
had butts.
about animal mineral
Vegetable man.
Yeah, we've had a dinosaur, and we've had butts.
Don't forget,
butts.
We've had butts.
And so it's just and we can get away with that. And
Donkey.
I just wish the other show could take more risks like the way that this show is taking risks.
This is the better show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So.
And I enjoy Titans, and I'm excited for season 2 of Titans.
I am too, but this show is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Where do you think we go? So this is episode 12. Are we going past 13?
We're going 15.
Okay.
Oh, I thought it was 16. It's 15?
Let's double check.
Oh my goodness.
You're usually right about this kind of thing.
Thank you.
TBH.
Where do we think? But the point is, where do we think we go from here?
I agree. I think you guys said this in the non-spoiler review, but it might have been in this one. I don't think by the end of this season we've figured out the Mr. Nobody situation. Mm-hmm. I think that similar to Black Lightning, this extends to season 2, and I want it to. So I don't know. Maybe they get a more stable Timothy Dalton situation. I really don't know.
I don't know either. There are a lot of behind the scenes videos you can watch right now on their social media accounts, which is really fun. Like Timothy Dalton does it's like a cool perspective video from him, and he's being interviewed, and they show behind the scenes footage with him, which is cool. You always got to be reminded that he is a part of the show.
Yeah.
And it sometimes feels like he might be doing something else.
He did get that whole flashback episode. I believe I don't think I said it this episode. You guys correct me if I'm repeating myself. I'd be interested to see if maybe they are able to find a way to undo Mr. Nobody's abilities, and him as a human is kicking around Doom Manor. Like he's part of the team, because I think that would be like classic. The bad guy becomes part of the team because there'd be so much drama there. Mm-hmm. I don't know who they face. How do you top an opponent after this?
Maybe keeping him in a Hannibal Lecter type state where he's captured,
yeah,
but we don't really know what to do with him since he's kind of outside of time and has his own dimension where he can go or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you keep him in a place in the manor where he is and you can go interact with them, that could be interesting.
Couple questions for you guys. Do you think we make it out of this season with all of our main cast alive?
I think all of our main cast makes it. I'm curious if Silas is gonna stay where he's at right now. I think at most we might lose Chief. I think we might lose Chief. I feel like there's more story to tell with him.
Yeah.
But out of people special appearance by Timothy Dalton, he feels the most removed from this.
I hear what you're saying. I would like to see more. There's
Yeah.
so many cool stories with Niles. Who would you? Oh man, would you? I don't think we're in a place where we can really afford to lose anybody. Maybe, if you were talking about somebody that's going on a journey that you could wrap up, maybe Larry, but then it's what is it called? There's a saying for it in pop culture where it's you kill off the gay character.
Oh,
killing your gays.
Killing gays. Oh, there it is. It's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah.
They did it with last week's episode when the other guy died.
Oh yeah. So I don't know if we're in a place maybe Jane, but I would be bummed to lose her.
Do you think it's possible we could lose Cyborg?
Maybe. Maybe he walks away. I don't know if he dies, because that'd be a little rough.
No, not dies. I think.
Maybe walking away though.
I want to see him interact with the Titans. Honestly, give me one episode where it's the classic cartoon lineup on that show, because you got them all.
Yeah.
Give it to me, please.
Also, it's like they're so moody, and it's like you have no idea. You have no idea.
Do you guys see this show as having a villain of the season?
Next
Maybe
season?
not.
Of all, like, is that the format of this show? There is a villain of the season.
I don't know. Trigon for Titans, I get why it's multi-season. Also, they ran out of time.
Yeah, there's a lot of complicated things there.
And with Mr. Nobody, I get why you could do multi-season. I think it's like 2 seasons at a time. Or it's like Daredevil, where Kingpin kind of was there, and he was like kind of like a threat that is kind of you can't beat him unless you get to his level, and they're never going to get to his level. So he's always there. Yeah. Mr. Nobody, his level is another dimension, so you can't fight that.
Yeah, I would be interested to see I would like to see a different big bad next season, but I think you're right, Sam, of a Kingpin type film where he's always, especially since Alan Tudyk is so great, and it's funny watching The Tick as well, because he plays the voice of a character named Danger Boat, which is a robot boat that's self-aware, and it's just a reminder of how talented he is, that those characters are so 180 opposite of each other. Yeah, I don't want to see a version of the show without him around in some way, but I would like to see, and Doom Patrol does have some enemies. Again, it'd be hard to top this one that could fill season arcs. Even Gerard Way's recent run, had a cool I forget what the group was called, but they managed continuity.
Oh yeah,
and you could do some fun stuff with that. Oh my goodness.
They teased Masters of Evil. They teased.
Oh yeah, we should do that.
Brotherhood of Evil.
There's a grill on that team. I'd love to see it.
And they teased the Brain and Mala. So
Yeah.
or not Mala, but the Brain. So you could have like a brain moving around in a jar.
Yeah.
Where just, hey, him and Cliff could talk about a lot of stuff.
They've got a lot in common.
Do you wish this was a binge show?
No, 100% no.
I like the episodic feel to it. It keeps me so engaged because every week it's such a treat. I don't know if you'd lose that if you're watching it episode after episode, because like Stranger Things for me was a treat every single time I watched an episode. So I don't know, but when people get this to Netflix, I hope people watch it. Give it enough runway to get another season. Get like at least 2 seasons. Come on, gang. I'll cherish season 1, but let's get season 2, and maybe the writers can maybe wrap up at least one story.
Yeah, I with this and Game of Thrones is a good reminder of why I love weekly episodic television, because you get that week to really unpack and sit with it. It legitimately lasts longer, because Netflix, especially with bigger shows like Stranger Things, it feels like you have to get through it that weekend.
Oh, so you can talk about it.
Yeah.
And then spoilers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then final question for you guys: who's the leader of this group?
Maybe. He
definitely wants to be.
Yeah,
maybe not now.
He's the closest to it, and then Cliff.
Really, I was going to say Jane.
Jane, maybe.
It feels like she propels the most.
I feel like Cliff has been the closest to getting people into a room to do something.
Yeah.
And because he had him go through therapy and it went horribly.
Yeah.
And then he got him to go to Florida. But Jane also has kind of brought them together in certain ways. Larry and Rita are the furthest in the back. Cliff and like Jane, I'd say they're close to the front. What about you?
So yeah, you ask us a lot of questions. Who do you see as the leader, and how do you see Mr. Nobody playing out?
It's interesting because I guess technically Chief is the leader.
Oh yeah, well,
but
technically
he's gone. Also,
Sleeping.
I guess Cyborg, but he's out of commission too. So I don't know.
No.
And then how do I see it playing out
with Mr. Nobody?
Yeah, you asked us whether you see Mr. Nobody with like a villainous season, basically.
Yeah, I kind of think that this show isn't going to do that, and that's why I don't really see it happening that way. I kind of think we're living in this world where we know who the big threat is, and that kind of could come in different forms. And at some points, I think Chief could end up being the threat. I think we're going to end up getting Silas back. I think we're going to have different people that come and go that are threatening to us. And the universe is the villain.
Yeah.
But it depends on which direction. I'm so invested.
This points out something that, again, and I think something I like about this more episodic storytelling, something that really bothered me about the Netflix model for the Marvel shows, is they were so dedicated to the idea of this the one villain. You know what I mean? And I like that Mr. Nobody's overarching threat, but we also have the Bureau of Normalcy. We also have that Nazi doctor dude, which tied into Mr. Nobody, but like he was the threat of that episode.
And all the Nazi dude people, all those women that were being controlled by him.
Yeah, that whole situation. I like that it's a nice balance, and it's something that especially earlier on in their seasons, the CW shows did really well, but they had 22 episodes to fill, so it became harder to do. And it's that I like that balance between, there's the big bad, But you've got to have some little things. It can't always be about Mr. Nobody. And also, the biggest hurdle all these characters have is themselves and all the dumb stuff that's happened to them.
It's a super solid episode. I'd give this one a 9 out of 10. What would you guys give it?
Same.
What did I give it before?
6.
I did not give it a 6.
I don't know if we ranked it, actually.
Yeah, I want to say maybe I'll give it an 8.5, which I think is what I gave it before. But talking about it made me appreciate it even more. I really like this episode.
So 8.5 still?
Yeah, I think so.
It's a 9, and only because it's not the best episode of the season yet. Otherwise, it'd be a 10. This show is pretty perfect.
Yeah. And when it gets into like the nitty gritty of stuff that we might not like, it's just it's not that the episodes aren't interesting or not. They're always well written, and the characters go to interesting places. Maybe just something doesn't click, and like that's not even. It's just personal preference. Yeah, it's not like critically speaking, the show is good through and through. And butts, man. It always comes down to butts.
Man-eating butts.
Man-eating butts. So, gang, look out for them. They're everywhere. They're loose now. So
they are loose.
They're loose. So, keep an eye out. Make sure you stay safe.
We've got loose butts.
Oh, loose
we
butts.
must maintain the butts.
Loose caboose, gang. So, be careful. But make sure you let us know what you thought of this episode in the comments down below. Check out patreon.com/onlystupidanswers where you can watch our full breakdown of Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, all that stuff. It's up here or it's over there. They're both
it's a mystery.
Make sure you also subscribe to Might Be Awesome, which is over here. And there's some videos down here which you could check out. But gang, we love you. Stay subscribed and keep drinking water because you're not doing it enough. I can tell. You look a little pale. Go drink some water.
Go outside. You gotta go.
Kind of yellow.
Yeah.
I can. Yeah, that's a gross joke. But hey, we're talking about man-eating butts. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.